Hello everybody, this is Jack at Solfege Live with Jack, and that's me. I'm glad again that you joined me. This is our second in the series. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the Latin syllables versus the English letter names. I had a question from a student who said, would it be better to use the English letter names with children in America? Because, of course, in the United States, we really don't use Latin syllables to equate to actual pitches. We use quasi-Latin syllables to equate function. So why shouldn't we Dalcroze people teach English letter names here in the United States instead of worrying about those crazy syllables, and just focus on the things that the children are learning in school? Now, I have no problem with that. I see no reason not to do that. The only thing I don't really like about it is that it doesn't sound as good. When you're singing using letter names, the alphabet, it's just, try it a couple times, just see it, and it's not really pretty. Whereas with the Latin syllables, those sound really beautiful together. And then when you even combine them with together with different voices, they blend so beautifully, and they lend themselves to all sorts of different sonorities inside the mouth. So as a singer, you really are able to experience a lot of sound, different ways of forming sound inside the mouth and getting over these heavy-duty drapes, what we call cheeks and lips, to get beyond those drapes and out. The vowel sounds of the Latin syllables really are much superior. Now, it all depends. Are you really interested in training singers and getting them to sing? Or are you interested to train their ears and getting them to read better? So I think perhaps it might be up to whatever your focus is. I admit doing it in English letter names is much, much easier to explain it to the child, A, to teach it, B, and to actually have them go into the world and function with it. Because they'll know ABC and they'll sing ABC, and it'll always be ABC. I see ABC, I play ABC. Bingo, bango. So, but going back one more time, when I have children from the beginning, I teach them exclusively the Latin syllables. For musicians who want to become real musicians, professional musicians, they should learn these Latin syllables. So it's a tear between it's a English or Latin. Now, like I said, when they start out, 5 years old was the youngest I would take in my school, and they had solfege lessons and piano lessons at the same time, 1 hour for this and 1 hour for that. I used Latin syllables all the time. With students who would come to me who were what we called transfer students, I had to use English letter names, but I gradually, little by little, wean them off of those and into the Latin syllables. I didn't do it immediately. It wasn't like overnight, bingo, you have to do this. No. I really worked with them, and I found, actually, I have more difficulty singing them in English than I do in Latin. I have to really think about it in English, where in Latin I really honestly don't have to think about it at all. And that's only because that's the way I've been doing it all my life. So I did have to work at it, and I did have to get the student used to it, and then finally, little by little, just introduce once, like for example, do would be do. Pretty early on, we would start using the word do instead of C, and I'd go up the scale. And so pretty do re, then do re mi, and eventually it's sort of just, again, it becomes a habit, and they learn to use it just like anything else. As human beings, we adapt pretty quickly. And then they begin making those beautiful sounds. And then we're teaching Dalcroze here, Dalcroze solfege here. We've got to be sensitive to the fact that we're using a system based in another culture. Our system is based in Latin. It's not based in English. So we have to be sensitive to that fact. So, again, use letter names, use the fixed Latin syllables. Great. But you know best what your students need. You know best how to reach them. All this always depends on the person doing it. All this always depends on their background, how proficient they are themselves. Because if you're not really good at the system you're trying to teach, you're not going to be doing a great job. It's not going to work. You have to be, I have to be as proficient as I can be when I'm teaching students this solfege thing. I got to be on top of my game, which means, guess what? I got to practice, which means, guess what? I have to work intervals. I got to sing those syllables. Do, mi, so, do, mi, re, fa, mi, so, fa, la, so, si, la, do, si, re. I got to repeat things over and over again. I got to keep things fresh. So I have to give 40 minutes every day to my solfege practice. And this is what I'd recommend for anybody teaching solfege. You got to be practicing it yourself. Just like as if you're teaching piano, you got to be practicing it yourself. You can't be sitting around teaching piano and haven't played piano in 10 years. I don't know how you do that. Same with improv. You can't just, sit around and never practice your improv and then expect to play kind of real, beautiful music. It's not going to work so well. So, of course, like always, everything takes practice. And I see that I'm well over time. So I want to say thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. And please subscribe. The subscription helps a lot. It spreads the method further. And the more any of us can do to spread the method further is valuable. This is Jack. Solfege Live. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.